Hello, lovely people. How are you? Hope you're doing good and observing all those necessary precautions which are required to keep you, your family, friends, community safe. That is the need of the hour. Welcome to yet another episode of Happiness How with Winko Chow. I'm your host, Wing Commander Satyendra Chauhan, aka Winko Chow, an air veteran and a resilient lifestyle strategy coach from Bangalore, India. And as you see, my guest today is a multi talented, multifaceted personality. He's recipient of international awards and of more than 50 youth national level awards, various recognitions in the field of performing arts. Has an experience of more than 1,000 live stage performances. He's perfect example of jack of all trades and master of many, as he calls himself, because he uses his various skill sets as anchor, singer, lifestyle blogger, motivational speaker, and corporate team building coach. And now he's turned an entrepreneur too. So, which actually brings a lot of positive difference in everybody around him. A VJ, presenter, singer, vlogger, Indian television host, motivational speaker, coach, and entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Clint Verghese from Mumbai, India. Welcome
Thank you
to
very
Know the
much,
Happiness
Winko
Hour.
Chow. Wow, I wish my mom had heard these things because I really believe that she would have felt a little more proud about me. But keeping the jokes aside, thank you very much. That's an amazing introduction for me. I've been doing a bunch of Zoom sessions and conversation with people. Very few, in my opinion, have done so much of research. You've got a complete background on me. This is basically my CV that I generally send across my profile to my clients when I say that this is what I do, and this is a
Mhm.
very good representation of putting across the kind of work that I've put in together. So thank you very much, Winko Chow. That's so kind of you, and so uh, it sounds so effortless. Also, I have to give you that power packed, energetic introduction. I loved it. I loved it. That's great.
Thank you, and it's an honor to have you on the show. Uh, as you know, this show is all about those meaningful conversations to bring a smile to the faces and a cheer in the moods, besides that sparkle in the eyes of all those youth executives, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are studying or working or living in high pressure cities, doing high pressure jobs, and facing multiple challenges because of this negativity around them. And what we do here is that we talk about how to regain and sustain that happiness. And who could be better person than a happiness coach on this show, where we dwell on the why and what of the resilience at workplace, and most importantly, how of these resilience ways in our own domains. And these conversations also bring out a lot of value in terms of first-hand experiences which are not documented. So in a way, this is also an effort to document all those. So it's a pleasure to have you, Clint, on my show. And I know you're creative, you're witty, you have attractive looks, and above all, that infectious energy and those vibes. So let's start hearing about that secret ingredient for this intriguing and mystical charisma.
Oh my God, Winko Chow, I have no idea how to respond to that. But I truly believe in this, right? I'm a little old school that way. I
Uh-huh.
truly believe who we are, what we are, is a combination of the blessings of our elders, our parents, the teachings of our teachers, and the support
Hmm.
of our friends, right? I don't believe in the idea or the concept of a one-man army or a one-woman army as such, because we I think it's a very egoistic or a very highly your identity being given so much of importance when you say that I have done it all by myself. Of course, not undermining the fact and the fact that we all need to work hard, to have to work really hard, but life would have been incomplete without the support and blessings and teachings of all these people, right? I think that's one bit. I truly believe that I've been blessed genetically with great genes. You know, it's in the DNA, as they say. So
Hmm.
a lot of who I am, how I am, is basically on the DNA that I've got. Uh, why I am this kind of a person is again the teachings, as I was saying. It's all the teachings that I've got, and uh, I still continue to be what I do is definitely because of the support of the friends. When I say the support of the friends, it's everybody who I personally know, who I know through social media. I think even the social media validation kind of adds a lot of value to our personal lives, right? We do a lot of things. We share a lot of part of our lifestyle, our everyday life. For me, especially, you know, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, a larger part of my everyday life is shared on social media. And I still remember, you know, I was very close to my granny, and she used to always tell me that adding value in people's lives is the highest form of empowerment, right? Of course, she told it to me when I was young, and I thought, oh, this is just another Sunday school class where, you know, granny's talking about adding value. But when I kind of started living those ideals and values, I have seen a difference in my own life. I have
Hmm.
felt that it definitely does reflect back. I am a very staunch believer in the idea of karma. What we do, we get back. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes we all expect, or we want it to that we do a certain process to get a certain result, right? And the
Hmm.
पुरानी कहावत जो है, नेकी कर दरिया में फेंक, बाकी जो ऊपर वाला देने देना है वो देगा तुम्हें जो देना है. So I think
Exactly.
I'm in love with the process. Of course, we all want the result, but it's important that you fall in love with the process, and then, you know, things get better. You enjoy the whole grind, and then at some
Hmm.
point, as they say, you know,
Yeah.
with success is moving from failure to failure. So success is a byproduct of a lot of love, falling in love with the whole process, I feel.
Great. I am getting a feeling as if I'm hearing myself. Let me tell you that. So,
Wow, i'm
anyways,
i'm,
we'll
I'm so.
we'll come to that. We share, and I am also sure that if I have that feeling, there are many who would be having that feeling because we all come from the same source. Anyways,
Yeah.
putting that aside, uh, here you brought out genetics, you brought out your dadi. So, would you like to share a little bit about your background? And one more intriguing thing to me is your control on Hindi language. So Clint Verghese, I know, comes from down south, uh, God's own country, and in Mumbai. So that is where I said maybe I would want to know a little more, and I'm very sure that all those people listening to this and watching this would also be little more interested.
100%. You know, I'm a hardcore Malayali Charkan, or Malayali
Okay.
boy, as they say. You know, so born in Kerala, raised in
Okay.
Bombay, Mumbai rather.
Hmm.
Don't want to get political
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
about it,
Yes. Yes.
but yeah. But you know, of course, hardcore Malayali Christian Catholic,
Hmm.
Malayali Catholic values that
Okay.
I was born up with,
Hmm.
where we would, of course, every day we would subscribe to, uh, be it from the lifestyle was revolved around the whole Kerala lifestyle, right? So be it the food,
Hmm.
or the conversation that you would have at home, or the ideals and values that you talk about, was very heavy Malayali driven. But here's the point. So my parents were the first generation to have moved to Bombay, take
Okay.
up a job, continue
Hmm.
living here. I was the first generation in my family to have been raised in Bombay,
Hmm.
in that sense. So of course, I was born in Kerala because I was the first kid, and then, you know, hota hai ki
Hmm.
पहला बच्चा जो है वो मायके में जाके
Hmm. Yeah.
होता
Yeah.
है, and you know, all of that kind of. I
Yeah.
think that's a general
Yeah.
India
Yeah.
trend. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with only Kerala or Delhi or Punjab,
Very
or
true.
पहला बच्चा तो मायके में ही, because that whole support and how we look at it, right? So raised in Bombay, I had friends from different parts of the country. We studied together. We ate each other's food. So from dal bhati churma being shared to, khichdi, to idli, dosa, sambar vada, and, you know, all of that. So
Hmm.
it was a very metropolitan
Very
lifestyle
true.
that I grew up in. So hence Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati. This is something that I kind of grew up with more fluency, and the culture. You know, you live in Mumbai,
Yeah.
you get access to people from around the country, right? So हिंदी इज डेफिनेटली गुड. मेरा हिंदी में वो थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी बात करने का प्रॉब्लम, आई
नहीं
डोंट
है.
स्पीक लाइक दैट.
Uh-huh.
नहीं है यार, बहुत बहुत अच्छी हिंदी में
Yes.
वार्तालाप हो जाती है हमसे.
Yes.
So as far as the Hindi is concerned, that's what it is,
Yeah,
and exposure to a lot of culture, right? I think the
very
fact
true.
that, as I said, living in Mumbai and studying with kids from across the country, you had
Hmm.
access to more cultural ideas, cultural lifestyle, as I said, from diet to learning about how they think. Like not necessarily how a Punjabi thinks about a certain way is how a Marwadi thinks
Very true.
about that certain thing as well. So a cross pollination of cultures, and I think I was blessed with a lot of opportunities to learn a lot about these things. And
Very true.
hence, Hindi mein to strong Hindi comes from,
Good.
and strong Malayalam as well.
Yeah, that reminds me a coach friend of mine who incidentally comes from the same place, and he is, like you said, equally good in Marwadi, Gujarati,
Yeah,
Marathi, and other South Indian languages too.
yeah,
So, and Bombay, I think, was truly the first cosmopolitan town. And having lived
yeah.
there, yes, I know it firsthand. Well, moving on, that was very interesting. So, well, while I was doing my research, I saw you endorse the ideology that adding value, like you said, in people's
Hmm.
life is the most empowering feeling in the world. And your motive now in life is to engage and inspire the world through your infectious energy and those vibes which we are getting here. I'm getting goosebumps, by the way. So
Wow.
I'm confessing it there. So that is, pursuing a very serious mission. So what's this story there? Would you like to share a little more about this mission? And before we go there, why don't you share how it all started? How old were you when you thought of, picking up VJing or vlogging? Blogging came much later though. So
Yeah.
and yes, don't miss out on the part of the challenges. That is where the learning
Hmm.
comes for all those who are listening and watching this.
Perfect. I think this is a great story. I feel I was, born and raised in an average middle class family in India. Especially when you're born in a Kerala Catholic family, there is one thing that you've served for all meals. There is
Mm,
always morals and values given to you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
wow.
So that's one part of
Wow.
the thing that I was born into and raised with, right? So that's the first part of things. But here I want to tell you a story about. I still remember raised in a born and raised into a very average middle class family. There were two things that were sure. One is the whole morals values part of it. Second, there were a lot of challenges that was part of your life, right? And I think the part where I said that you are fed with a lot of morals and values, that helps you sail through these challenges, because it's no more about life is all easy and life is all fun. Life is about working hard. That's what
Very true.
was constantly told to me. And my parents were sportsmen. That's how they got into a government service job. Dad got into customs, mom got into railways because of sports quota. And that sportsman spirit is very hardcore
Yeah.
within all of us, be it me or my parents or my sister, because that's something that we were always told. No matter whatever it is, you ain't giving up. So that's one thing. So here is where I'm going to introduce you to what I call the story of the 3P. Okay,
Hmm.
it's the first P is the story of the penny. So I still remember it was a nice, beautiful Sunday morning after the Sunday mass. So we, Kerala Catholic family, as I said. So it was important that every Sunday we attend the
Hmm.
Sunday mass with the family together. And I remember after the Sunday mass, we were coming out of the church. वो फेरी लग जाता था. You would have all these fairy walas outside the church
Hmm.
selling those cotton candies and those bubbles, and those fuga
Yeah,
wala
yeah.
hota tha and all of that, right? So I still remember after one of the Sunday masses, I'd asked my dad that, Dad, I want the cotton candy. Nice cotton candy. The guy is making it. There is some, pom-poms and all of that going on. I was very excited about that. So I told Dad, Papa, please, I
Mm.
want a cotton candy. And he said, she. It's so bad. It's not good for your stomach. It's going to make you sick, and don't buy it. So I said, okay, Dad, forget about that. Let's get that, that the bubbles, the air
Uh-huh.
bubbles or whatever
Yeah,
you
yeah.
call it. And he said, oh, no, that is also bad. And I was like, Dad, what is this? Everything is bad. And then I told myself, Bhagwan, what kind of a father did you give me, man? ये कितना कंजूस आदमी है ये. And I remember telling myself at that very young age also. This is one of those moments that I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
from that young age when I had asked for, when I had desired a lot of things, and my father always said, either it's not good, or, you should work hard for it, or something on those lines. So I remember telling that whenever I will become a father, it, I should be in a place of position where if my kid is asking me for something, I should be able to afford it for him or her. It shouldn't be about ki yaar cotton candy kharab hai, ya bubbles kharab hai, ya ye wo hai. So that's the story of what I call the first part of the story is the story of penny. So I told myself that whatever it is, भैया जिंदगी में पैसे बहुत कमाने हैं, इतने पैसे कमाने हैं कि कल कॉटन कैंडी खाने का मन करे तो वो बंद नहीं कर रहा. I was a kid, I was young, I was still a young boy. The whole idea was cotton candy afford करना चाहिए भैया, या फिर air bubbles or whatever. I grew up getting into the whole artistic phase. I was heavy into sports. I got into school, college. I was very good with, again, as I said, I was blessed with great genetics. My mom was a dancer. My dad was a singer. He was a public speaker as well. Very active. I've seen him taking very key positions in the church and stuff like that. So I was heavily influenced by all of that. So I was very good with speaking and being on the stage, and there was no fear at all. And the whole stage became, started feeling very addictive. So I was singing, I was dancing, I was performing, skit, arts, drama, everything. And I realized that the stage kind of made me feel very strong about myself. There was something else. It gave me a different high altogether. As I slowly got out of school and got into college, I remember getting into doing mall activations. Mall activations is basically, standing in the mall and baby or sajjano, bhai or behno, ye dekho aaj aapke liye hai special offer, those kind of things. And I still remember my dad used to give me 50 rupees pocket money when I was in junior college. And my first ever job was to stand outside the Mumbai airport, holding a placard, waiting for some international delegates to come and get them into the car. Just out of my 10th standard, vacations are going on, and I was offered 350 rupees. And then, at that 15-year-old boy doing his math, he said, yaar, 7 महीने का pocket money, वो भी मुंबई airport के बाहर खड़े रहने का मौका, that's where the whole idea कि यार पैसे कमाने, चलो 7 महीने का pocket money आ गया. धीरे from making money, I realized that to doing anchoring, where the first anchoring gig I was offered some 2,500 rupees, and I said, oh my God, that's like a major scalability opportunity all of a sudden. So then I realized that, anchoring is what I want to do. I was performing with my band. I realized that there was a different high. It met my first purpose of wanting to make a lot of penny or make a lot of money. And that's when I realized that being on stage had become a passion for me. It kind of gave me some sort of drive and, some sort of energy which was irreplaceable, which I couldn't feel off the stage. I would go on stage, put my hands up and ask people to jump and dance. And I suddenly saw, people are jumping and dancing and having a great time. And I'm like, wow, dude, there is nothing better than this. I feel like an emperor all of a sudden. People are listening to me, and I could also make money. So that's my second P, what I call as passion. So
passion. Okay.
The story of the penny, the passion, and then I grew up. Then I realized, I started looking at it as not just what I feel, right? It was at a very, very immature way of looking at it कि यार मुझे emperor वाली feeling आ रही है, मैं लोगों को नचा रहा हूँ, मैं सेठ जी हूँ या मैं राजा हूँ या जो भी है. Then I realized that it's no more about how I feel or how I am perceived of, or what is the high that I'm getting. It was more about the impact that I was able to bring about to people, right? I saw that with me being on stage or me being in front of the camera, I could all of a sudden make people lively. People have literally come and told me that, yeah, I was feeling down and out, but attending your session or having you on stage kind of just brightened us up altogether. I realized that now the bigger high was not about how I felt. It was about how I was able to have an impact on people. That is what I call the story of the penny, the passion, and the purpose. I realized that it's I could, with my skill sets, with my qualities, with whatever resources that I have, I could now make money, feel like an emperor, and have a larger than life impact on people. Then I said, now it's time for me to focus on my purpose, because it will definitely take care of the rest too. That becomes a byproduct now. If I work on this, it gives me a certain sense of inner satisfaction. It makes me feel कि भैया ये अच्छी बात हो गई यार. And I feel that's a long-term goal as well, right? How long am I going to just look at यार पैसे बनाने हैं या फिर मेरा passion है, मुझे राजा वाला feeling हो रहा है. The moment I started looking at working on my purpose, I realized that it kind of made me feel more satisfied in general. It wasn't
Very true.
about कि यार पैसे आ रहे हैं कि नहीं, कि मुझे मजा आ रहा है कि नहीं. It was about कि यार मैं एक difference लेकर आ पा रहा हूँ लोगों की जिंदगी में. And I know it sounds like a very fairy tale or a very philosophical jazz to give about, but trust me, it's just a perspective shift. It's the same thing,
Very
it's the
true.
same process. But as I said, the very value system that I was born into, when you start loving the process and you look at the result as the byproduct of the whole falling in love with the process, it just gets very beautiful. And hence, now my focus is on my purpose. Now it's
Excellent.
about engaging with people, using that as an opportunity, not just to entertain them, but also hopefully to inspire them. And
Actually,
that gives me a larger high.
excellent, excellent. I mean, and what better high than, working towards your purpose and with passion and getting those big pennies also. So all those who are listening and watching us, take a note here and do scribble down couple of things if you have heard Clint say what he actually meant. It was challenging, uh, and like most of us, and especially those times when the resources were lesser, means were lesser. Now, yes, there is kind of plenty around, if not more. So, do remember that you have to have some passion and purpose if you want to get those pennies. Well, I
So
also,
I just wanted to add one more
yeah,
point to this, right?
yeah,
People always say that pursue your passion,
uh-huh,
but you must really ask yourself, if your passion is not your purpose, you
hmm,
won't enjoy the hustle in it.
very
If
true.
your passion, like everybody wants likes to sing, right? But you might not be able to commercialize your singing or make your lifestyle revolved around
Hmm.
singing if that is not the purpose of your life also.
Very true.
If you are doing like 10 other things, and if you're not laser focused on wanting to become a singer, a successful singer, and through whatever medium you look at it, right, be it as
Very
whatever
true.
genre of singer you want to become or whatever, if you don't make that the purpose of your life,
Hmm.
you won't succeed. This
Yeah.
is something that I've learned, or maybe I'm still experiencing. When things become your purpose, you will fall in love with the process.
No,
You
that's
will be ready to fall down. You will look at every failure as an opportunity to learn, and not just as just getting dejected and
yeah,
wanting
yeah.
to give up on that.
Great, great. And actually, very succinctly, you also gave us one more thing, that is process. So if you're enjoying the process, remember that yes, somewhere you are there. So and there is that five whys always there. When you want to establish your purpose or establish the passion, keep asking those five whys, and you will certainly get that. So, moving on, uh, I also read that you say that be open to change and convert criticism to help you grow better. So, yes, there is all that which happens when you're growing, and we all have general idea of struggles, competition, and pressure performances in the creative world, especially, and the showbiz. And I, for one, does know this. Lived in Bombay, and although not directly, but I was very much there when the film shoots would be happening. As a matter of fact, I would be controlling that area. I was very lucky to know certain small little nuances. Yet, while today we are taking a small sneak peek into your creative world, your demanding world of television and that showbiz, would you like to share some challenges that you've faced starting a career here, and what exactly are the aspects which create pressure? Internal, yes, we may know few, yet there must be a lot of external pressures which work on
Yeah.
somebody who wants to come and start afresh. So that will be very helpful.
you know, Winko Chow, I truly believe in this. I might sound a little
Mhm.
philosophical because I have been asked these questions in the past, and when I respond to it with
No,
to
you
me in
can go
the
ahead
kind of
because you
values.
look like a philosopher. Actually, you look like, to me, actually, I'm paying you a compliment in the middle of
Thank
your
you very
answer,
much.
but then it came out,
Yeah.
you look like Shankara to me. You are Shiva to me.
Oh.
I've watched quite a few videos of yours, and you give me that,
Yeah.
you give me that feel. And especially when your hair is tied up there.
It's just
So,
tied
so
up. I
go
was
ahead, go
thinking, should
ahead,
I do the
go ahead.
Shankara look today? And I was like,
All that philosophy will work.
perfect. No, because for me, you know what, I truly believe that philosophy is good only if you practice it in life. You know, you can be a philosopher to sound cool, but if you put your philosophy into practice, you
Mm-hmm.
will see results. Because if you really want to, as I said, if result is one of the important goals of what you're doing, right? If,
Mm-hmm.
when you're looking at a purpose, you're looking at the idea that you want to also hit the goal, and
Yes.
hence you have to practice. It can't just be all words. It can't only be textual content that you're trying to say on a
Mm-hmm.
interview session, or to
Hmm.
people that you want what they want, or how you want people to perceive of you. That's one thing that we all do,
Hmm.
right? Social media has given us all an opportunity to express ourselves the way we want, to
Yes.
let people know of us in a way that we want them to know about us.
Very true. That's very interesting.
And but I truly feel that that's one aspect of the things. But if you don't practice those things, you know, it's like building a structure with a very weak foundation. It will fall at some point in time. And for me, the whole idea is to build a structure that remains strong, that will be looked upon by people and say that, hey, you know what, if this man could build it, I would also want to try to do it. And my
Mhm.
objective is to let them know that yes, you can. The only thing that will stop you from doing it is not the external wind or the other issues. It will be you yourself. It will be your ideas, your thoughts. If you feel that, you know, as the great Henry Ford once said, right? If you believe that you can do it, or if you believe that you can't do it, you are right. It's just in what you believe is what will happen to you in many ways. Because you know, it's a very free, it's a basic framework of something that I say with a lot of people that ask me when
Mhm.
they're looking at transformation in their life, right? Our value systems define our thoughts and
Mhm.
our emotions, right? That reflects in what we say, in how we act, in our behavior. So the value system has to be strong. The value systems will slowly trickle down into how you behave, into how you deal with people. And for me, I'm very clear. There are challenges. There is challenges for everything that you do. There is no challenge for, if you
Very
want to
true.
evolve, there will always be challenge.
Very
But
true.
if you're going to stop at that, oh, there are challenges, if you're just going to look at the challenges and not look at the solutions for the challenge, then I feel then it's a then it's a it's an improper use, or not a proper utilization of the intelligence that we human beings have. I truly believe we human beings are the top of the chain, or rather say, let's say, a dominant species on planet Earth is because of our intelligence, right? We
Very true.
realized at the very beginning, since we were caveman to, living all by ourselves in the jungle, we realized that, oh, if we form groups, we can hunt better.
Mm.
Then we realize that from being hunter gatherer, it's better that we become a society, not just a group or tribe. Then tribes came together. They started becoming, farmer and agrarian society. Slowly we saw the evolution of from groups, tribes, societies to civilization. We realized the power of multiple societies coming together. We can now, put our expertise
Very
together
true.
and create a system that will help us better. Civilizations, now here we are in 2020, uh, where even communication is not much of a difference. You're in Bangalore, I am in Mumbai. We can see each other, we can talk to each other in a way, we can feel each other as much as it would have been just talking to each other, sitting next to each other, right? So I feel it's the utilization of our intelligence that has helped us do all of this. If
Mhm.
everybody at one point thought कि यार ये नहीं हो पाएगा यार, ये नहीं हो पाएगा, so we would have not reached here. So I think it's now on us how we are going to take challenges head on and convert that into opportunities and possibilities, and not just stop at that. Also inspire, hopefully, others to do the same as well. I think that's the higher level of evolution in that
Very
sense.
true.
It's not just doing things for yourself, but being able to do that and then moving one step higher by helping others also do it.
Very
And
true.
just replying to the challenges, just to name a few challenges, Mumbai as a city has uh, is the entertainment capital of the country. There are as much as opportunities as there are various fields of entertainment, be it live performance industry, live events industry, experiential marketing industry, or the TV or the
Hmm.
movie industry or whatever. There are, to each one seat, there will be thousands or maybe tens of thousands of people applying
Very
for it
true.
in a very general scheme of things to say. But are you going to look at it ki yaar, I am one among the thousands or the 10,000s, or are you going to look at how am I going to be there? How will my process help
Hmm.
me reach, be that one person in the 10 or 1,000? So I think it's just a shift in your perspective that will help you achieve whatever you want. I truly believe that. I think that comes from one of the earlier stages of sportsmanship value system that was strongly built into me by my parents, and it's there as part of my genetics. It's there as part of my value systems in general, and I practice it every day as well.
Excellent.
So yeah, I think it's just that. So if there are challenges, look for solutions for challenges, and you will fail. I mean, and don't be worried about failing for sure. There will always be some ditch you will fall into, so that tomorrow you will know that this is exactly what you must not do to move a little more faster.
Excellent, excellent. And just to add to that, I also feel that, like you said, no, that if he could do it or X could do it, and let me also give it a shot. I feel like when you were saying very philosophically to add to that, that I also feel that there is no other. Actually, we're all. That is what I believe and work on. I take energy as the source, and I take myself as extension of that energy, which has some biological features in it. So we actually have
Yeah,
got, like you said, intelligence. I call it higher senses. We all have it. We all have it, and it is
yeah,
only matter how you use it and the change in perspective,
yeah,
which unfortunately over the period of time has been given to us, that survival of the fittest. I'm trying to challenge that. Let's see how far do I reach. Well,
yeah.
so coming up from
But I
challenges,
have to
yeah.
ask you this,
Uh,
Vinkocha, I have to ask you this. You have lived a 4G life. Tell
uh,
us some challenges from there, because that's a really exciting thing, right? One
uh,
thing that I love and respect about 4Gs in general is the fact that you guys have discipline to like next level. Like
hmm,
that's part of your everyday lifestyle. It's not just that, chalo yaar, 4 baje ka call hai to 4 baje aa gaye. It's everything that you do. It's part of your, you know, how do you say it, at the molecular level, at the
absolutely.
subatomic level, that is part of your consciousness in general. So bring us
I
some
have I
stories
have
from your
I have
40
very
life.
lovely stories, and I would love to, I'll be play smart here. So invite me on your show, and I'll share all of them, and they're big ones
High
because I
five.
have a long
High
journey.
five.
Yeah, yeah, I have a long journey. I was born and brought up in the Forge. My dad was an Air Force officer, and like I said, I come from family of I call it fighters only. So my
Yeah.
grandfather was a freedom fighter, and uh,
Oh,
people
wow.
were police officers. So I come from that lineage. So it's really a very interesting story. So we'll keep a separate time for that. So
We're going to
coming
do a
coming
different
back to
podcast on that.
yeah, yeah, and this is like I think I told you. If not, I take my podcast and my interviews as a coaching space where I say the space belongs to you. I only hold it for you. So today it is for you. so
Thank you very much.
so
That's so sweet
so
of you. So
yeah.
thanks for making me feel special, Chow.
Oh yes, you are. We all are actually.
You
That's what
are,
I
you
say.
are.
There is no other. So, anyways,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a different thing. Uh, I have stolen it from the great J. Krishnamurti, and there are a lot of big saints and philosophers who've said a lot good words, which I'm trying to learn and decipher and maybe define it, which suits me, and I can toe that line. So coming from challenges to the environmental pressures, because I believe, like you said, shift of perspective. I also believe besides shifting perspective, it is environment plays a very huge role. So yes, you were given all good things from your environment, but your work environment, we all know there is a lot of negativity, there is a lot of
Yeah,
insecurity, because it is hard work. Everybody doesn't become what the superstars are, whereas people come to become that. We all know, I think the figure is about 5 lakh people would be landing up at VT station every day. So in
yeah,
Mumbai, and I'm sure that quite a big percentage of that wants to make it big in that screen. It could be silver screen, it could be smaller screen. I was also smitten by that bug, by the way.
Oh,
Some
tell us
time
about
ago.
that.
It hasn't died down, although, but I've become more
Okay.
practical now. so so how is that environmental pressure, and like I said, in terms of negativity, how bad is that? And why I say this is because one reason for me to start this podcast was to become a soundboard and air certain conversations where people are feeling that they can't change the system, they can't change the industry, they can't change their jobs. So what do? Oh, they listen to something which can maybe is helpful, maybe lighten their moods. That's how I have coined that, lighten up and their moods and cheer them up and stuff like that. So, and this negativity must be around you also. And what did
Yeah.
you do to cope it? Or there are many like you who may not have been able to do it. Would you like to share some of that aspect for people to be wary of certain things while they are learning certain things?
Perfect. So I think, Winko Chow, you've brought in a very, very strong point that about insecurity, right? I feel
Mm,
insecurity, and I understand insecurity is a great tool, right? It
mhm.
can be used to develop yourself, which
Right.
means that, when I say insecurity, I know insecurity as a word is very loosely coined. We say that it's a negative thing, but I feel when you say insecurity, if you feel inferior to someone based on skill set or a social level or at whatever parameters that you would put yourself at, right? You should use that as a fuel to make yourself better. Like in my opinion, that's how it is. I don't feel it's a bad thing. It's only a bad thing. It's like, that age old saying, ki a pen can be used to write tales and inspire generations, or it can be used to poke someone else's eye. So it's on the person how he or she uses it. And I feel, if you personally ask me, insecurity is there where human beings are there, right?
Very true.
It doesn't matter necessarily if it's an entertainment field or if it's, let's say, a corporate sector where people are fighting for rising up the ladder. And I feel it's everywhere. It's there in a relationship. It's there at home. It's there between
Right.
brother to brother. Maybe sometimes some feel that, oh, my brother or the sister or the next sibling is getting more importance than me, or so on and so forth. So I really feel our education system has to should inculcate certain should focus more on building confidence, should focus more on teaching people that insecurity does exist. It's part of our human evolution, because we have that survival of the fittest instinct within us. We always want to be ahead, and we will always look at the side who's running next to us and all of that. I feel our education system, I wouldn't say it has failed us in many ways, but it could be a little more efficient in the way of what we get to learn about our everyday life. But of course, the glamour industry, the entertainment industry, the whole insecurity side of the story is more glamorized. There is more conversation about that, especially in today's times with all that is running around in the media. But I feel it's about, I truly believe clarity is power, you know, and
Mhm.
clarity not about the world, but about yourself. I used to say this a lot when I was growing up, when I was in college, when I started earning that little bit of money doing that mall activations and all of that. And I was a very hardcore rebel child, growing up with all those intense value systems forced onto you. You always, and being a very strong alpha person, right? I was raised by a very strong mom. She always made me feel that, if you believe in something, fight for it. It doesn't matter. When you say fight for it, not violently fight for it, but stick to those ideas. So it kind of misfired on themselves, and we had like very opposing value system ideologies. Maybe because of the fact that they were very traditionally rooted in Kerala Christian values, and I got access to a lot more other value systems than what they were born and brought up into. And hence I would always find a little time to travel off, make that extra money. And during my college vacations and all of that, I would want to run away from home. I would want to go and explore the world and learn about new cultures, meet new people, eat different cuisines, and experience that whole joy of traveling, right? But again, as I started traveling, I realized that more than I learned more about the world, I started learning a lot about myself. Because now all of a sudden I was a different guy than what I thought or what I was told off that this is what you are at home or with friends. And I would always be a solo backpacker. I
Hmm.
would travel all by myself, pack my bags, run away into the Himalayas or to unknown lands and places that was really intriguing, which had various different cultures and opportunities to meet with a lot of foreigners and all
Hmm.
that good times of teenage days of traveling to Goa and Manali and all those fun things that we used to do. But over the period of time, I realized that with those travels, it's not just that I got to learn a lot about the world and people and the food and other things, but a lot more about myself. So I truly feel traveling should be one thing that should be heavily encouraged as part of our education system as well. We do our college trips and all of that, but that again is a very controlled environment. I feel when you're put into really challenging situations is when you actually get to learn a lot about yourself. And maybe it's not meant for everyone also. That's, I won't say that everybody should go and like you should put everybody into a situation, run in front of a tiger and see for yourself what you can do out of it. But I feel you should be adventurous in general. I feel my adventures in life has helped me know more about myself, has put me in positions where, in challenging positions where I didn't know this as a template to be used, this has to be said or this has to be done. I had to explore it myself. And that kind of helped me learn more about myself. So, and hence I said, clarity is power. You need to go through
Hmm.
disastrous situations, go through, break your hearts many a time to learn about things that you would have otherwise not known. And hence, just looping it back to your question of how negative is the industry, I truly believe if you are strong from within, there is so much so the negativity can affect you. So build an immunity. Today we talk about physical immunity, right?
Very true.
We're in a world where immunity plays a very important role. Everybody's talking about consuming food, superfoods that helps improve your immunity. I feel, what about, nobody's talking about the mental immunity? Who's going to talk about that? The physical immunity is great. It will help you
Right.
from a COVID virus. But what about the aftermath or the emotional, psychological aftermath of this COVID situation? People have been
Hmm.
losing jobs. People have been home locked. Couples are having issues because all of a
Very true.
sudden now, initially they were sleeping for 8 hours, working for 8 hours in the office, and then the extra hours that they had to put in was all the time that they had to spend with each other. Now all of a sudden it's all the 24 hours. Now people are finding it challenging to cope up, not just couples but
Very
in
true.
general, students,
Very
couples,
true.
working professionals, artists, everybody. So I feel, work on building your inner immunity.
Hmm.
No amount of negativity will have that kind of impact on you if you have clarity within yourself.
Excellent. Excellent. While you were answering this, uh, one compliment that I gave you was Shankara and Shiva. You were looking like Christ to me with this persona at this moment. So I mean, I'm sure that people must have given you that compliment earlier too. Uh,
I can
and
also do a
and
Buddha, by the way. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just the
Do
hair.
that.
If it's a full
Oh,
bun, it's
excellent. Oh, it
Buddha.
looks. Oh, no, no.
If it's,
Leave it like that. Oh, it was looking lovely.
it looks good. Okay,
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna do a
So
full bun then.
yeah, yeah. So while you do that, the only thing I was thinking is that people, when they watch this and when they listen to this, they're also going to see the real different side of yours, actually, and it's truly philosophical, because what you do on stage, what you do in your shows, there's that energy. And I was actually saying, yes, all that sportsman energies come into you. You're running up and down, running all across the stage and the arena, and people are enjoying it. From there to this, uh, oh, so there is tremendous transformation, and people would certainly enjoy that.